Whereabouts in Australia are you from?
Sydney.
Right.
I'm north of the bridge.
But you travel all around the world doing distance races.
Where I can, yes.
Quite a way to see the world.
It is. I mean, it is. It's a unique way of seeing a place and interacting with people. More so here, because you're literally on the streets for such a long day.
Yeah.
But yes, no, I have done a lot of global races.
How do you find this course? It's quite unusual, isn't it?
It is unusual. Look, look, course is kind of, it's what you choose to see, I guess. So, you know, you have moments where, you know, you've got the trees and you think that is just amazing. And then other, you know, I noticed this house across the road's got like a nighttime garden with fluorescent lights, and it's a bit of a display. It took me third day till I realised that. Yeah, you keep finding new things on these courses, and that's what I quite like about the loot races. It forces you to pay attention. And I think you could definitely do the 2 days and not notice even a fraction of what's out there. Look, this course, I love a hard surface. Actually quite like the concrete. What I do not like are uneven pavers. And so I find, particularly in the dark, I really have to pay a lot of attention that I don't trip. And you know, I don't lift my knees a lot, so I really have to be careful. Engineering's done a great job with the yellow tape and also now the lights. Yeah, it's a different course because it is very exposed. So Flushing Meadows, you are enclosed in a park, and perhaps I didn't appreciate it enough this year. I was complaining about the highways and Bannock, and that major arterial road that we run along for part of it. But I now think I should have appreciated the fact that we were in this quite protected sort of space. Here's kind of interesting because you're from Grand Central, and particularly I prefer this direction at night on this stretch because it's a light behind me. When it's a headlight and it's coming at you, it can be quite blinding, and yeah, it's a really interesting course.
It's good you find it interesting.
I know, the monotony, I know. I guess you have to look.
Does that ever get to you? Been out on the course for 8
Yeah,
hours?
it does. It does. Last night, the last few laps were very Groundhog Day for me. And I was counting, you know, I sort of had my mileage done for the day. I wanted to have a tiny buffer. I was counting those laps down. For about the last hour, you've just got whatever it was, 4 more, Annabel, just 4 more times.
Do you have any strategies for getting through those difficult times?
Yeah, look, various things. Sometimes the music can be nice if you really just want a distraction. I also do a lot of a meditation technique I've been taught, this see, feel, hear. I particularly will just go into this meditation where I'm hearing and I'm listening to the soundscape, but I try and do it in a way that's, well, I guess that's the point of meditating, isn't it? You're trying not to be reactive to the fact that actually there's people hurting it. You've got sirens, all kinds of crazy stuff going on around you. So I sometimes just do that to get out of my own head and my frustration, yeah, with the monotony. So that's one thing I've been trying. And because we all have such different sort of paces, we have the bits we like to run, the bits we like to walk. It's probably I've so far found it a bit harder to lock in behind somebody and sort of feel like I'm not alone out here. Instead I feel like we're ships in the night, for me, on this course at this point. But yeah, look, I mean, I don't know how I feel about the monotony. in a week or 2 weeks. Or...
I'll ask you in 3 weeks' time.
I know. I might have a lot more strategies. I mean, I could try podcasts. I could try all kinds of things, audio books, and I probably will. And radio too. Just hearing there's humans out there talking. So those are probably some of the strategies.
And you've got a helper, Susan, who's done the race twice.
Amazing.
What have you learned from her?
Oh, so much. I mean, because it's just, sometimes when you're a runner, someone offers you something and you're like, yeah, but actually it's so good. Even things like just eating fruit in this heat. You think, well, if I'm going to eat, I want it to be calorie dense, so I don't have to do it again for another lap. Actually, no, it's worth making the effort to eat some fruit. It's very hydrating. It's very nice. Yeah, and what's great about Susan is she has done this race, and she gets it, and she's not. She is responsive to what I'm needing. It's actually about me, and that's actually quite a rare trait in a helper. It's really, I know when I help people, I want to make it about myself. So it's amazing. She just doesn't do that. So yeah, she's such a good helper. It's been great. Thank you.
And how did you get into distance running?
I've always sort of run, I guess. Then I started running with friends and started doing marathons. Then I had friends who were doing these longer distances. Marathons wasn't enough. And I kind of got sucked into this whole world of running ever longer distances, I guess. There's always a longer event until you reach this one.
And what do you get from these long distance running?
Peace. Quiet, just peace. I guess a respite from the world, from day-to-day life. Headspace. And yeah, just calm, really.
And for somebody who doesn't do distance running, might think, how can you get peace from putting your body through so much pain?
Yeah. At the moment, the body feels okay. So ask me that when it starts to break down a bit, perhaps.
And what's special about this race?
I guess the support, the Sri Chinmoy Marathon team, what it's about, that it's not just about place or records or any of that. It is very much your own journey, I guess. Well, it's self-transcendence, the pursuit of it.
Yeah. So. And what does self-transcendence mean to you? What are you trying to transcend this race?
Myself, in a way. Some of the issues that go with being me. Already I'm finding I tend to be quite rigid about how I do things. I don't accept help readily. I do things the way I do them, and I do them. You can't do that on a race like this. So for me to rely on other people to the extent I'm needing to even now, that's definitely, for me, a form of self-transcendence.
And do you have any goals for this race, or do you just take it day by day?
Day by day. Day by day. I can't conceive of how else to do it, particularly being, I've done 10-day races, I've done 6-day races. It's a whole other event. So it's very much about just being in the day, letting that day unfold, and then going back to bed.
What's the furthest you've ever run in a race?
Yeah, I got an 1192 kilometres across the years in Phoenix on a 10-day in 2019, 2020, just before COVID hit. And I just had one of those magic races where from the start, I was completely discombobulated when I arrived. I lost my keys to my RV. I was doing up my shoelaces as we started. But from that first lap, I just... Oh, are you okay?
Yes.
Thank you. I just fell into that really peaceful place. And it was just, a bit of a blissful race. Nothing really went wrong. I had one blister on like night 9. And it was sunny, but it was also dry.
Yeah.
And not humid. So that dry air is very nice.
But this race is still a step into the unknown, really, isn't it?
Absolutely. That's exactly what it is. I really, I have no idea what goes on after 10 days. I have no idea what day 11 looks like. I'm just choosing not to think about that because it won't help.
Yeah.
I just have to see what happens when I arrive there. It's all completely unknown.